So I am so excited to have you here, the tidbits and wisdoms of a very dear friend of mine, Karen Cooper. And let me just tell you one straight thing that says it all about this lady. She has truly, since I've known her, what now is it, 3 years, Karen? 4 years are we going
Like
on?
that? Yeah.
Yeah, between 3 and 4 years. In that time frame, we've been on several journeys together, but that woman has totally gotten something going because she's mastered the crazy committee shit that we do in our heads, everyone. She's mastered how to deal with it in such a beautiful, authentic way. And that's why I wanted to bring her on board and have her share with you a little bit of who she is, what she does, and what sparks her to kind of prevent those guys from popping up in her head all the time. So, Karen, why don't we start off? This was really funny just before we came on. This is the 30-minute chat, and a lot of people, when they're chatting, they'll have something to drink. My go-to is either tea or coffee and water, but literally tea and coffee are tied. But what is yours?
What
Look at that, guy. It's not just water in a cup, it's jumbo size.
is this is from Five Below. I get nothing back from Five Below, just saying. By the way, first of all, thank you for having me. But second of all, I drink water on a literally, I drink 2 of these a day. It's 64
Okay,
ounces.
have you always been like that, or how did you get master, quote unquote, to get that way? Because people go,
Um,
I should drink more, I should drink more, and they never do.
well, I used to be I was a sweet drinker. So like I like sweet drinks,
Okay.
alcohol and otherwise. But like iced tea, lemonade, stuff like that. I used to drink. I had stopped drinking soda many, many, many years ago, actually. But prior to that, after I stopped drinking soda, I sweet drinks, whatever. But when I started my health journey 8.5 years ago, is
Ah,
when I stopped drinking the sweet drinks, actually. That's
so
when I
what
was like, okay.
started you on the health journey? Like, what kicked that off?
So I was working let me move my water. I was working full time at the
Uh-huh.
time, corporate America. My kids were young at the time. I don't remember how old. They're 17 and 22 now, so do the math. And I was miserable. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was miserable. I was cranky, and I couldn't keep up. I literally just couldn't function. They were in sports. My daughter played softball. My son played baseball. We were at the field. I was like, work, field, Wendy's, home. You know what
Wow.
I mean? Like that was my life. And
A
I
lot of people
within
have
like,
been in those shoes, huh?
yeah. So
Yeah.
that was the impetus. And people I worked out with were doing isogenics, which is what I did, what I still do. And I was like, well, maybe you're onto something. I thought they were nuts for like 3 years. And then I was like, well, all right, fine. I'll give this a go. And that's what
Wow.
started my health journey.
So then you got healthy,
Mhm.
and as part of getting healthy, is that how you made the transition into mastering a lot of what you do to help others today?
Yes, and
Okay.
yes, because being healthy, because when I started the journey of being healthy, I started the journey of personal development. I
Ah,
had not done personal development prior to my health journey. But along the way, I don't want to say it wasn't enough. Here's what happened in my specific case. The pandemic hit, my freelance position ended. I used to work in the advertising industry, and I found myself now home full time, being an entrepreneur, having absolutely no idea what the hell I'm doing. And I knew, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. Like I was overwhelmed, anxious, and like I was like, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. And I knew it, but I didn't know what I needed to be doing. So that's when I set off on more of the mindset journey than the personal development journey that I
oh,
was on. I always
okay.
continued the personal development, but I did
Mic
more.
drop and stop. I got to ask you two things because I know people out there are asking, what exactly does mindset mean to you, Karen? And what does personal development mean? Because a lot of times when
Great question.
you and I know those things we've experienced, but a lot of people that are listening are going, well, what does she mean by mindset? What does she mean by her personal development? How
That's
would
a
you?
great question. A really great question. When I started Isogenics, personal development was like reading a few pages of it, which is, by the way, all the things I'm mentioning are things I still actually currently do.
Okay.
But was reading a book, some journaling, some, YouTube videos. Like I listened to Tony Robbins a lot. I would listen to some motivational speakers. Les Brown was a favorite of mine back then. Mel Robbins is still a favorite of mine now. And that's what I would do. So I would listen to these motivational speakers and hear what they had to say and absorb what they had to say. So that was like personal development. So it was all around. It was working my mindset. It was my messaging. It was like all the things. But it was surface based, if you will. Not to say that it was bad or anything like that, but I knew that I was holding myself back. I was stuck in some vortex and I was the one holding myself back. When I knew that, I set out for more actual work on my mind. So working on the thoughts that are going on inside of my mind. What am I thinking? What am I believing? What's going on inside the head is
Yeah.
really what I mean with mindset. So I still read my books. I still journal, but now I've added meditation. I've added more things. But I was like, okay, what's holding me back? Like, what am I doing? What's going on with me? So it was more personal development was more like overlapping. And then I went into more of what's going on with me so that I can get rid of all the mishigas that was going on inside
I
mishigas.
love that.
And going on inside my head, like I didn't realize how negative I spoke to myself and just my limiting beliefs and all the things that were in fact holding me back.
So you mentioned a couple of things that I think a lot of people could relate to. Books. I'm sure a lot of people out there say, "Oh, I have this book and I listened to that person." What has been your favorite book up to this point and why in your personal development and mindset?
Oh Lord, I have to pick one.
If you have a
I
couple,
have a
I'm sure
few.
everybody would love that.
Um, I have a few. Jen Sincero, who wrote "You Are a Badass," "You Are the Badass" books. "You Are a Badass" and "You Are a Badass at Making Money." Loving those books. I just reread those a bunch of times. I read those a bunch of times. Tracy Litt, who was a favorite of ours personally. Her book "We're the Human," also a really, really good one. That's really excellent. And I just read very recently actually,
Uh-huh.
you can heal your life. I think, yeah, by Louise Hay. And that really was incredibly eye-opening to me about just like how we speak to our bodies even. Like it
Yes.
was just, yeah, so those are my three at the moment.
Oh, I love that you mentioned her because that's well, you and I have two that are the same, of course, Tracy, because that's one of the ways we're connected. But Louise really helped me during a really, really rough time. Um, Tell me, if there was an individual, again, this might be hard to kind of look and frame into one person, but if there was somebody that you say, this is definitely, I admire that person, who would that be?
It's actually not someone I'm obsessed, and it's not so in the personal development world, with Cher and Tina Turner. I was like, I want to be them when I grow up. I shit you not.
Um,
I'm obsessed with Tina Turner. I'm completely, I mean, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of favorites and that I look up to and things like that, but like Cher, she doesn't give a shit. She's just who she is. She's 77.
yeah.
She's had #1 hits in 7 decades. I mean, the woman is just, she's done like, she's like, with Britney came after her, she's like, I did it first. Like she gives zero F's. I don't know, but she just does it. I'm complete. And Tina, same thing. Like she came out of this whole thing with Ike, and she was just like, nope, I'm gonna
Mm.
do it. I'm gonna go for it. And she gave back, and she just exploded. But she never lost who. I think neither one of them lost who they are innately, which I think is pretty cool.
So, it's interesting. One thing that you and I've shared on a lot of the listeners that come on and connect with me, we're all kind of in this same season where we've either had a loss, a loss of a marriage, a business, our kid went off to college, a family member died, losses and all types of, but it seems that it comes at a season after we've already had our, mother years with our kids and our years in growing our business and our family. So here is somebody that's coming to you possibly in that just beginning stage. What piece of advice would you say to this person that was sitting there and go, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what my life's going to look like. What would you say to that person?
I'm trying to think back, what would I say to me?
Yes, exactly.
When all my the shit was hitting the fan a year and a half ago. Asked for help,
I love
because
that.
that's what I did. So that's what and I was not one, and I'm going to point this out for listeners to be insanely clear. I was not one who did. So I was very much of a person who was, no, I can do it by myself and it's okay and I got it, kind of a thing. There's no shame in recognizing that you need help. And I'm also going to add, talk to people about it. Feel the feelings that are surrounding it. So just to give you because I'll be okay with it. So my husband and I decided to separate, divorce March of last year. My daughter graduated college and his mother passed away unexpectedly in April of
Of
23.
that year.
No, so my husband and
Oh,
I
yeah, that's right.
decided divorce March of 22, cut to April
This
of
year,
23.
right.
His mother died completely unexpectedly. My daughter graduated college in May of 23 and stayed, in Delaware where she went to school. And my son is currently 17, turning 18 and graduating from high school in June. And so I just turned 55. So, so I'm like, fun stuff. And pivoting businesses and things like that. So a lot has happened in the last year and a half, almost 2 years of my life. And immediately though, when we decided to end our marriage, I happened to know a divorce coach. And so I contacted her because I knew that's what I knew she would help me. So that was my instant thing. So when maybe you don't want a divorce coach, I'm just saying I asked for the help immediately. And I
You asked.
continued to ask and receive what was, because I didn't know I was codependent, people pleaser, and controlling. That came out more. I didn't know the words for the actions that I had been doing for many years. I
Yeah.
should say that. Those were the words that are associated with it. And so they came out, those characteristics came out blatantly after everything. So it was okay now, but now that's also hindering you. That was part of what was actually hindering me. Now you need to go see a boundaries coach. Now you need to work on that. You're working on that. Now you need to. So all along, and I was still working on my mindset, but I still was asking for help from other things and other places and other humans and speaking to you and other people about what was going on, because there's a lot of feelings that come up with everything, and it's okay to feel the feelings. It's not to live in them and
Yes.
believe them.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed with working with different people is that we go through these stages and we're all not going to be oblivious to pain. There's going to be change. It's just part of living life. But one thing I did notice that we also have in common is our relationship with food changes during these seasons.
Yep.
I remember I would either eat, not eat, tons of coffee, no coffee. Oh, you can't eat that. Oh, you better eat it all. Who the hell cares? Again, that mind craziness. Have you seen yourself change and have a total different relationship now with food and what you do to honor your body?
I'm starting to. So full transparency, 1000% went to the emotional eating. And I actually was talking with someone else recently who's also, she's actually a certified health coach, and she's the same thing. And I think it's because we're human,
Yeah.
and actually, I know, we're human. And in my specific case, I was like, these are the things that I need to work on more importantly, because once I get those, I don't want to say fixed. I stopped because I was looking for the word, but it's not, once I get those in check, if you will, then I was like, okay, then I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm wonderful and amazing and fabulous, and I'm a mindset coach, but at the same time, I can there's only, you know how much you can handle and what you can do. So I'm like, okay, I need to start moving my body more. I need to start honoring my body more. I need to start giving a understanding what I'm putting in my body more. I need to what's the correlate? Like, I knew I was emotional eating, so what can I do? Like keeping a food journal, for example, is something that I'm intending on doing, because I'm
Okay.
also in the midlife state where there's hormonal stuff going on and menopause and things like that going on. So now I'm like, okay, I really want to understand it a lot better. I was a person who didn't care about the details.
Right.
And now I'm like, I need to start caring a little bit more about the details, and understand it more. I would just I would just go with it. Well, someone's like, yeah, well, this is what you should try for this and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yeah, okay. And I never asked why. I was never curious. So
And
now I'm
now,
getting more curious. Like,
and
what's happening, what's going on, that kind of a thing.
yeah, and that's basically love for yourself, because if you're curious enough to know, you're kind of telling yourself indirectly in your thought process, geez, I care enough to know, why is that going to be good for me? Or why is that not going to be good for
Right.
me? Right. Or taking the
Mhm.
time. So that's wonderful. So do you feel, oh, first of all, what was your first job? And do you feel that it really helped propel you and learn and grow from where you are today?
My first, I used to
Ever
babysit.
job,
So
paying,
I used to babysit. My first ever job was babysitting, um, for my neighbor's kids, who one of them has 4 children right now. So that's a whole other thing. But anyway, he's like 40 years old and he's got like 4 kids, and I'm like, oh. But yeah, no, that was the first thing I ever did, was babysitting. And looking back on things, um, I have literally always been everybody's therapist. I would have been wealthy right now in terms of money if I actually charged people for it. Like, have so much money in my bank account right now. Because of it, but I was always everybody's therapist. I was always taking care of other people. So I'm a recovering people pleaser, codependent, control freak, but nonetheless, even still, like my ten, I network. I do isogenics, helping people transform their mind. They're healthy, and I'm a mindset coach. Hi, I help people transform. That's what I do now. Like,
yeah, so
so
there
it's
you
like,
go.
so of
It,
course it blends.
it was
So
like,
it really, and I was 13 when I started, no, yeah, 13, 14 when I started, and here I am, 40 plus years, 40 something years later, and helping people. So I've always in some way, shape, or form, and I worked in advertising. So my corporate career was in the advertising industry. So I help put ads on
yeah,
air. So in some way, shape, or form, and then I was
always.
QA, like, and even in my positions, I was customer service, like
And
I
then
was in a helping.
caregiver as a mom and helping. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
just an
have 2 kids,
innate
yeah,
part
and
of you.
I was a wife, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I always took care of
You mentioned
people.
that you would be filthy rich, which kind of leads me into a question. If you had to choose between, what would you rather have, more money or more time?
Money, hands down. I never had money, so that's why. I mean, money to me, I feel like we are time. I feel like Tracy always says this: we are time, and I know a lot of people like, what the hell does that even mean? But like, I feel like we could waste our time, and we don't know necessarily what to do with our time and things like that. Time is like an interesting thing, but for me, money has always been like an ever present in my life. It was something growing up, it was bad, it was fought about even in my marriage, and like, it was something I never had. And so I'm unashamed in the fact that I want to be I'm a millionaire on my phone. My
I'm
phone locks
glad
me
you
and says I'm a
declare it.
millionaire. And
I'm
I
glad you
used to be
declare it.
ashamed about it, quite frankly. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was like, why would I ask for that? And now I'm like, you know what, screw this shit. I'm completely unabashed in the fact that I want to make a shit ton of money.
Good for you. Good for you. So have you had your I've made it moment then or not?
No, I haven't had an I've made it moment, but I have had moments. Even yesterday, I did a one of the workshops I offer. create your magnetic vision. And I did that for a networking group yesterday, and people really had some aha moments. So that was amazing. As recently as yesterday. So I have moments like that where, and when isogenics clients and things like that, where the people, even not necessarily clients of mine, like the people that come to me for whatever, I help them in some way, shape, or form. And those are my aha. Those are, it's like, I don't think I've arrived, but those are the moments.
I
When
love
somebody's
that.
like, because of you, I like, I feel like I should start singing because of you. Like from Wicked.
Yeah,
I work in
right.
song lyrics and movies. Ladies and gentlemen.
And music is such a mindset game changer, right? I love music as a resource to change the craziness in the head. And I don't know, recently I read somewhere that some of the most creative artists that have long gone, you know, Michelangelo, even scientists that were creative like Albert Einstein, all these creative individuals that are just mind blowers when you look back in history, all of them had that component of a love for music, which, so when you said Tina Turner and when you said Cher, I went, yes, not only are they singers, but they're badass. So that's so
Well,
cool.
music heals. I mean, just
Oh,
flat
yeah.
out, you know, there's no question that music heals.
Yeah,
That's it, period.
exactly. So, how would you like to be remembered?
Lord, that I gave a shit. I think I'd like to be remembered as someone who cared and gave a shit and impacted and left some sort of an imprint and impact on someone. And when I say impact, I mean that I helped them in some way, shape, or form.
I love that.
And had
Um,
a little fun, like, and you know what? The other thing is like have fun. Like I just do, you know, I'd like to be remembered as someone who that, but like also like didn't like share like it, well, she doesn't care. Like I'm like, whatever, you know, go roller skating. Who cares? Like, why does it have to be like at a certain age you have to stop doing shit? So I wanted to be remembered also as like someone who just didn't care about things and went about and didn't live her life the way that she wanted to live her life.
so I've got two more questions before we wrap up. You know, they say that all coaches, whether you're a life coach, a nutrition coach, a fitness coach, you know, whatever your specialty is, but you're helping others, you know, get to another level where they want to be, that they all have a good, disciplined morning routine. What's your morning routine like?
My morning routine is I'm not great at not looking at social. I have to be honest. I do not have my, I mean, my phone is on vibrate and down when I go to bed. But sometimes I will look, but not for long. But I what do I do first? I actually listen to like Easy like the song Easy, Easy like Sunday Morning from the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Commodores.
yeah. Uh-huh.
And I listen to that. I do a little bit of journaling. And so like first I do journaling with and listening to that song that sets me up like it's a calm. Then I have a card pull, like an oracle card deck that I pull a card from every day. And then from there I do my beliefs. So I have like beliefs that I, you know, like it's safe to live the life that I want. For example, the more fun I have, the more money I have. But I'm just not reading them. I'm closing my eyes. I'm envisioning them. I'm like really like feeling them. And then after my beliefs are done, I do a meditation.
Mhm.
Usually it's a meditation from Tracy Litt, but if, you know, which is nine, you know, because we have a meditation that we visualize, you know, certain aspects of our lives in that meditation. So I do that meditation. And then after that meditation is when I read like 10 pages of a book. And that's my morning routine.
That's awesome. Do you feel that that has really up-leveled you with keeping this at a bay?
Yes. Yes. And when
It
I don't
doesn't
do it for
stop it,
whatever,
right? It doesn't stop it. It keeps it at a
no,
bay.
no, but when I didn't used to have a morning. I used to be the type of person who, and I'm a weird person that actually gets up with the alarm. So I'd have the alarm ring, I get up and I go. I take a shower and go, you know, and I'm finding this is more grounding. And when I don't do it, you know, there are times when I forget, like I have something to do, or just I don't honor myself and do it, I feel off.
Oh, interesting. And then what do you do to get yourself on again? Because in that moment, maybe now it's mid-morning or mid-afternoon even.
Breathing, breathing breaks has been my savior. I literally have alarms that go out throughout, literally now hourly, as I keep up leveling. I do it hourly, but I was very much a person who was not connected to my body at all in survival mode, which I didn't know it was survival mode, but now on days like that where I'm not, if I didn't do it, or even just when I do it, I have my breathing alarms that go off throughout the day, like an alarm, like as if you wake up. And so when they ring, um, there are times when I literally simply cannot breathe, but I'll stop when I can and do the breath work. So at least I'm connecting to my body in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, that's great. So I'm gonna have you share at the end where people can find you and what have you. But there was one little other question that popped into my mind that I just think it's kind of fascinating for people to share and hear. I always like to ask new people that I've met, but I've known you for a while and things have changed. Do you feel that our world is actually revolving into a better place than into a down place? Because all many people that go, oh, our world is doomed, so much crap's happening. And then I'll hear other people that are just like, oh my God, we're changing, the world's getting better. How do you see it, from a sphere viewpoint, like Las Vegas sphere?
I'm okay. I I'm just gonna come out and say it, okay? Because I'm just trying to be politically correct and not responding right away. I honestly think it's very skewed right now, and that's the problem. Because there are good things going on in the world. There are good people that are in the world. You just don't ever hear about it, or you hear this much about it. So it's very skewed towards the world is ending and we're doomed and all the shit's going on. And I'm not to say that that stuff isn't going on. So don't come at me. However, and really don't, because I'm Jewish. Okay. So don't. Okay. Come at me.
I love you.
Okay. Like I'm gonna get like insane right now. But because I've had my kids have had anti-Semitic things happen to them. That's why I don't want to hear anybody's crap about like all that stuff. But because I've already had to deal with that in my life. And so that's why I think it's also very skewed, because it's old, and especially now we live in a world in 2023 where there's a million different ways that you can get your information constantly. And so that's also part of the problem and the solution, by the way.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's not really that like we're doomed and the world is ending and all that stuff is going on. It's also, well, what is it, instead of feeling like all the atrocities that are going on and it's all horrible, it's all horrendous, it's all shitty. At the same time, listen, collectively, maybe we can do something, but it's like, okay, what is it that I can do as a person to not live in this doom and gloom and live my life in such a way that's integral and makes me happy? And then that'll trickle down to everybody else. So it doesn't matter what you do for a living, by the way, also, because a lot of times we're just living in our I didn't even know this is what it was too, but we're feeling like crap. So therefore we're miserable, we're tired, we're anxious, we're exhausted. We emote that. Well,
Amen.
if we are happy on purpose, because we don't need anybody else to make us happy, we make ourselves happy. And if you can't, come to me. But anyway, um, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how do you want to feel on a daily basis? So really, the world can be the way it is, but you as a human being could be the way you want to be also. And maybe you can, if you really want to, incite change. People went and did rallies. Martin Luther King, for example, he had a dream. There are people who decided they wanted to do something and went and did that. Whether or not they incited change or not, it didn't matter. They felt something and they went and talked to people about it. So if that's what you want to do, great. But it's not like, oh my God, the world is ending. shit's happening, and therefore we should just crawl under a rock and not do anything about it, or not live our lives the way we want to live our life.
That's a very
I'll stop there
holistic,
because I can go on for a little.
no, a very holistic, healthy thought. And I just feel like you said, if more collective individuals just worked on themselves and went out there and just said, I'm going to just shine today, more and more of the light will extend. So in wrapping, if somebody were to say, geez, I want to know more about Caren, who she is, what she does, tell us where we can find you, what to do, where to go.
My three main social media handles are with Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So that's where you can find me. Do you want me to give you my handle names?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And then I'll put them down in the Zoom for everyone later in the bottom messages, but go ahead and put them out. If somebody's getting out their pen, they can quickly do it.
And I'll tell you how my name is really spelled, so you can actually really find me, because it's not
Right.
Caren with a K.
Good for
It's
you.
Caren. So on Instagram, I'm Caren, Caren Cooper, COOPER_. And on LinkedIn and Facebook, it's Caren, Caren, Shagren, SCHAGREN. That is my maiden name. Cooper, COOPER. On both LinkedIn and Facebook. So that's where you can find.
Great. So thank you for taking the time, everyone. I hope you have a holiday beverage that not only brings you joy, but that it's good for the insides as well as for the outsides. And we will see you next month. Caren and I are, by the way, going to be working on a spring workshop together. So keep your eyes, ears, and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn open for little tidbits on that. All right. See everyone later. Thanks, Caren. I'm going
Bye.
to sign
Thank
off.
you.
Talk
Thank
to you
you.
later. Bye.